everyone. How are you? Good evening. I hope you're all doing fantastic. Thank you so much for all your support for this independent, critical analysis of world event that deeply affects humanity, deeply affects us all in the world. Thank you so much for all your support. So hit the like button and let's reach our goal in the chat, in the super chats, and let's analyze why Kristi Noem, in my opinion, was fired. I literally mentioned this yesterday in my live stream where I had a really almost 2-hour live stream with different sections. Please go ahead if you haven't already watched that. And I want to analyze today the real reason why Kristi Noem literally fired the next day after first the Senate hearing and then the House hearing, which I literally covered yesterday, the Senate hearing, what happened and why, and then today, boom, out. And there's a reason for that, and also that will bring me to why I believe that Bondi is next. And as I was literally saying that, I have seen news that the Democrats are trying to push Bondi out. I cannot make this stuff up, but we will discuss and I will tell you exactly why I think this is happening. Because part of it I mentioned is already yesterday. So everything I say, guys, as you all know by now, is happening. So if you still don't follow me, subscribe and hit the notification and discuss in the comments, because we have a great community here, super smart, and I really am grateful for our community here. Okay, then I will go into that, will lead me into why, in my opinion, the girls in Iran, the girls' schools, the first bombing in Iran was targeted and was the girls' school, and 150 or so girls in the school were killed. Why was the very first, even before the religious leader was killed and all the other leaders were killed, why was the first bombing in a girls' school? Why are girls targeted? Why did they die? So I will get into that, and this all is connected, and I will bring the dots together, which I think it's in my opinion, okay? But before we go there, I want to share with you the breaking news, which I told you to call your representatives and don't be these couch commentators, which I had one after the live stream, that I called you all to call your representatives because I knew what will happen. And I will share with you the breaking news that once again, it was really narrow. It was very narrow. And because of the Democrats, which I had made a very brief, very simple research on these, I would say, traitors, and I came up with something so interesting, and it's absolutely not surprise. And I took some screenshots, and I will share make another video specifically on that, on my research of these few Democratic representatives, beside the fact that the other Republicans were, of course, supporting the war, supporting everything that Donald Trump says, but at the same time, they're blocking the war powers resolution, which is critical for us to understand and for us to be able to follow the Constitution and follow the law, okay? And also for us to understand what the hell are we doing, right? Where is this going? How much will it cost? What's the end game? What about the people? What about the Americans? What about the US bases? What about, right? And these war powers resolution would have helped us to understand what the hell we are doing. But of course, because of the Republicans are all on their side that are literally wanting this. And I want to also share with you, and I told you yesterday, keep this in the records, who voted, and on the Democratic side, who voted for what, okay? Also on the Republican side, who voted for these. All the elections are coming up. You need to throw them in their face, okay? So I want to first read you the article from the Hill about the breaking news that this war powers resolution has been blocked also in the House. Oh, so good. Oh. All right. House Republicans sink effort to rein in Trump's attack on Iran. House Republicans on Thursday beat back legislation designed to rein the U.S. military operations in Iran, marking a victory for President Trump and blow for those hoping to reassert Congress's unique powers to wage war. The vote was, get this, 212 to 219. 7 representatives. 7. And who called it out? The Democrats. And I will tell you which one those are. So the vote was 212 to 219, with just 2 Republicans, Representatives Thomas Massie from Kentucky and Warren Davidson from Ohio, hopping to aisle to support the resolution, while 4 Democrats, and I did research on them, broke with, and you will see why they voted, and you will probably not be shocked, okay? I will show this in your face, and you mark it for your records, okay? While 4 Democrats broke their party to oppose it. Representative Jared Golden from Maine. Didn't I say yesterday, that what's wrong with Maine, right? All of them, I told you, the Maine senators and representatives are literally only voting for GOP. Even if they are Democrats, they are voting for GOP. There was not even one single time they didn't do it. And also, I was shocked today, and I commented on breaking points to Sagar and Crystal, and I just couldn't believe that Sagar went, I don't know what's happening with Sagar. I mean, I don't know, after he got married, is just nonstop talking and not letting Crystal talk, and talks over Crystal. Like, what the hell happened to Sagar? I have no idea. It happened everything after he got married, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But he literally said today that, guys, you can't make this stuff up. He literally said that Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski always voted against Trump. Like, what? This is like, and Krista was like, no, ever. They always voted literally for Trump, always for Trump. And even if it's a live or die situation where everyone's, these 2 people's votes were so critical for the country, they voted also for Trump, like with Trump, and for Trump's policies. So what are you talking about? So again, Jared Golden from Maine, exactly what I said. They all the time, over and over and over and over again, he votes Republican, 100% full stop. So mark Jared Golden from Maine, okay? And I will tell you another video, the screenshot, why he votes always GOP, always. He always votes GOP. Henry Cuellar from Texas, another Democrat, voted GOP to block the resolution. Greg Landsman from Ohio, also Democrat, also voted GOP to block the resolution. And Juan Vargas from California, also Democrat, also voted for GOP and to block the resolution. You can't make this stuff up, okay? So the vote was largely symbolic, coming one day after the Senate killed a similar resolution, which we covered yesterday, along similar partisan lines. And some observers had questioned the Democrats' strategy of forcing the vote, since failure of the resolution is its own roundabout front authorization for Trump to continue the strikes. Democratic leaders dismissed those concerns, arguing for the importance of fighting to reestablish Congress's war powers as defined by the Constitution, and putting lawmakers on the record for perpetuity. So this is what it is, to put these people on the record. And I told you, and this is for the record, who voted for what. And you need to put these in their faces, okay? If you are from Maine, if you are from California, if you are from Texas, and if you are from Ohio, you need to throw this in their face, okay? The Constitution is not ambiguous on this subject. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, don't even get me started with that person, okay? From New York, Democrat, told reporters in the Capitol shortly before the vote, there is no evidence that there was an imminent threat to the United States of America. The War Powers Resolution, sponsored by Massie and Republican Ro Khanna, California, would force Trump to terminate operations in Iran until the administration can win congressional approval. Most Republicans rejected the effort, saying Trump, like every other president, has the authority under the War Powers Act to conduct limited military strikes without a formal okay from Congress. They also warned that forcing Trump to quit the campaign now would leave Iran's current regime in power, albeit weakened, thereby heightening the security risks for the US and its assets and allies in the region. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, okay? This is crazy. You wouldn't start this to begin with. Now you backtrack everything. Of course you put everybody in harm and risk. You already started it. I mean, this is crazy. Who did you ask? Who did you ask? Now it is, you can't backpedal this without harm, but it will go further in harm if we don't have your check. This is insanity. Seriously. Nobody cares about us ever. And the military and the people in the region. Heading into the vote, Speaker Mike Johnson, don't even get me started with that person, from Louisiana, Republican, characterized the Massie-Khanna resolution as a dangerous idea. Let that sink in. It would empower our enemies it will kneecap our own forces, and it will take the ability of the United States military and the commander-in-chief away from completing this critical mission to keep everybody safe, Johnson said. Congress has a constitutional right to exercise its oversight authority, and we will, but we also have a duty and obligation not to undercut our own national security. Of course, national security. That's the key word here, right? The defectors have been a topic of great focus, and Democratic leaders have spent much of the week racing a rally their troops behind the resolution as a show of unity in face of military operations they deem to be both unjustified and unconstitutional. The defections also highlight the prickly nature of war votes in Congress, especially when they relate to Israel and the broader Middle East. The Democratic defectors were a mix of pro-Israel lawmakers concerned about the continued threat from Iran if U.S. forces pull out, and vulnerable centrists who are facing tough re-election contests in November's midterm election. So, did you see like the sentence? I'll read the sentence again, okay? The Democratic defectors were a mix of pro-Israel lawmakers. That's exactly what my research have shown, but I will show you this in another video. Concerned about the continued threat from Iran if U.S. forces pull out, and vulnerable centrists who are facing tough re-election contests in November's midterm elections. So again, these are on the record, and we need to hold these people accountable, okay? And I will show you later another video what my research shows who these people actually are, okay? The two Republicans who bucket their party, Massie and Davidson, both cited the Article 1 stipulation that Congress alone has the power to declare war. Exactly. Article 1. That's the Article 1 in our Constitution. That Congress alone has the power to declare war. That's what I based all my videos on. That's why I said it's illegal. That's why I said only Congress has the power to declare war. That's what we learned as US citizens, right? That's what we learned. That's the First Amendment, Article 1, right? That's not the First Amendment, it's just Article 1. The Constitution is clear. Davidson told CNN Thursday morning wars of choice are declared by Congress. In the end, though, the vote was overwhelmingly partisan, and the outcome was expected in a chamber controlled by Trump's Republican allies, who have defended both the wisdom of Trump's strike on Iran as essential to national security, again, national security, and his authority to launch them without congressional approval. Much of the debate has hinged on semantics. Although Trump and some top administration officials have referred to the operations as war, they have also claimed it's not. A message that has been adopted by Republicans on Capitol Hill. So I told you yesterday, war is it not war? Is a war? It's not war. If it's a war, then you have to go through the Congress. But then, oh no, it's not a war. So which one is it, right? We discussed this yesterday. We are not at war right now, Johnson said Wednesday. We are 4 days into a very specific, clear mission and operation. You can twist and turn this around as much as you like. The reality will sink in very, very soon. Especially, my point is for you, the couch influencers, right? The couch commentators. So, we are not, so the conflicting statements have not been overlooked by Democrats who maintain that the sheer level of the attacks, combined with warnings from Trump that the operations could last for weeks, meets any reasonable definition of war. How do we know that? Because President Trump said it's war. The Secretary of Defense has said it is a war. And our Constitution is very clear, said Representative Ted Lieu from California, Democrat, a former Air Force attorney who taught courses on the laws of war. Let that sink in. Only Congress can declare war. That's also what I learned when I became citizen, okay? Copyright, yeah, it's all that copyright, right? So, this is what insanity is looking like. This is what all of us have to put in our pockets, in our notebooks, and throw this in their face when the elections come, okay? So again, I repeat, the 4 Democrats who voted GOP and against the resolution is Representative Jared Golden from Maine, Henry Cuellar from Texas, Greg Landsman from Ohio, and Juan Vargas from California. And the Republican representatives who voted for the resolution is Thomas Massie from Kentucky and Warren Davidson from Ohio. Okay, keep these in mind. Now, I run into this, and I want to read this to you as well before we go to Kristi Noem. And this is also from The Hill. Massie says, Massie, Iran war will radicalize new generations of terrorists. And I cannot agree more. So I haven't read the article. I read this with you live here right now. Republican Thomas Massie, Republican from Kentucky, on Wednesday warned ahead of a vote on a war powers resolution that the U.S. airstrikes on Iran will radicalize new generation of terrorists. Massie, on the GOP, the only GOP sponsor of the House measure, pointed to the long wars in Iraq and Afghanistan in making his case. Actually, he was on the floor today. If you haven't watched it, but I know that he was. We have learned, have we learned nothing from the laundry list of wars and regime change experiments we sparked across the Middle East that have racked up a total of at least $8 trillion in debt in Iraq, Libya, Syria, and Afghanistan? Massie said on the House floor. A sustained war with Iran will not stabilize the region. It's already ignited the region. So again, what these people don't understand, Iran is not Iraq, not Libya, not Syria, and not Afghanistan. This is goddamn Iran. You cannot go like Venezuela in and out, what Trump thinks. This is Iran. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? This is, again, not Iraq, not Libya, not Syria, not Afghanistan. It's Iran. It has incredible powers. We're already seeing this. So you can't just go in and out as Trump said, oh yeah, it will be similar to Venezuela. No, it won't. No, it won't. And he says like something in Venezuela. Look at this. I will radicalize new generations of terrorists. It will radicalize new generations of terrorists, and it will send more swarms of refugees into Europe and the United States. Exactly. He added, Iran is not Venezuela. See? See, I told you. See? I told you. The Ayatollah was not a president. He was a religious leader from a region notorious for radical Islamists, Massie said, referring to the assassinated supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and the United States and Israel turned him into martyr. Massie cited Secretary of State Marco Rubio's comments Monday that the United States carried out its attack after Israel launched its preemptive strikes as the reason why it is Congress that must decide war. I have a theory, Massie said. I think my colleagues don't want to go on record because we have a terrible track record of meddling in the Middle East. They don't want their name associated with this when it doesn't turn out well. Exactly. Exactly. And this is also when we think about Trump, and this is all of this, there was also mentioned yesterday in the news, is that the reason why they are not doing this, because there was literally mentioned this yesterday. Oh yeah, who said that? Yeah, that's right. I saved it. It was it a professor or who said it? It was in, I watched that. Was in MS Now with Ari Melber. He had a guest. I don't know. He was an elderly gentleman. I don't know if he was a professor or something? Not sure who was. I forgot. But he said, and exactly what Massie says here, and this is so true, that they want, because they don't know which direction this is going. That's why they don't want to come on record, because they don't have a strategy to, they didn't even pitch it to the people, so they don't even know where it's going. And because they don't know where it's going, they have now the variety of options to claim a victory. That's Trump. That's 100% Trump. He always wants to claim victory. So whatever direction is going, then he would say, yeah, that was my goal to begin with. Don't forget that. And this will be also bring me to that Kristi Noem and to Bondi, and why, the real reason why Noem was fired. Again, this is Trump. He wants to claim victory in a but he doesn't know from where. So that's why they want to keep this open, so that he either side can claim victory. And that's what Massie is talking about here too. Massie is one of two Republicans, the other being Republican Representative Warren Davidson, Ohio, who favor the resolution, which is expected to fail. And it did fail. The GOP majority is expected to oppose it, as could some Democrats. Representative Rokana from California, Democrat, Massie's co-sponsor, said support for the resolution has seen movement since the initial attack Saturday, though he has repeatedly put it odds of passing as less than 50%. the Senate killed its own version of a war powers resolution in a motion to discharge resolution 4753, sponsored by Senator Tim Kaine, Democrat in Virginia. It received support from nearly all Senate Democrats and Senator Ron Paul, the only, of course, GOP senator, and Senator John Fetterman from Pennsylvania, Democrat, joined Republicans in opposing resolution. Senator Lindsey Graham, we talked about this, Republican from South Carolina, claimed the resolution was unconstitutional. It sucks, he said, of the effort by Congress to constrain Trump's authority to launch preemptive strikes. It's an unconstitutional shift of power from the commander-in-chief to the Congress. And by the way, Lindsey Graham today announced that he wants to bomb Lebanon. You can't make this stuff up. You actually can't. Okay? So that said, this brings me to Kristi Noem. And Kristi Noem, the reason why he was fired is literally the same thing, is because, as I mentioned yesterday, that always the women in the GOP take responsibility of everything crap that's going on, okay? And that's why I said yesterday they were so on top of her, because, and they were also before on top of Bondi. So it's a matter of moment that Bondi is out again. And also it's a matter of moment when what's her name, Tulsi Gabbart is out, because these women take responsibility always and hit by the GOP. That will bring me later to why the girls were bombed, okay? So what happened was, why Kristi Noem was fired was because, remember when Senator Kennedy questioned her and asked about the ads, and multiple senators asked about the ads. But the more important part was when the GOP senator asked about the ad, $220 million ads. And then he asked persistently who approved this? Who approved this, right? Of course, the Democratic senator asked that too, and the Democratic House representatives asked that as well. But most importantly, I think what the trigger was that Kennedy asked persistently the question, why you pay this much and who approved it? And he specifically asked that nobody asked. He specifically asked, was Trump, did Trump know that? And she said yes. And that's it. That was the end. It's not about anything that she have done. It's not about that she killed under her leadership. American citizens were killed. American citizens were detained. None of that had anything to do with the firing. It was only because, and this was by a reporter actually said that, it's not just because this is my opinion, but not just because a reporter literally said it today, that Trump wasn't happy that she said to Senator Kennedy that yes, Trump was informed, or Trump approved it, or Trump knew about the $220 of ad. And that was it. because Trump always, as you know, wants to stay in the good light. And again, only him matters. And only because she mentioned that Trump knew about this absurd amount of $220 million ads spent, and that's it. Only because she made him look bad. That's it. That's the only reason. It's unreal, but we already know that. It's surreal. So again, the only reason why she was fired is because she made Trump look bad. That's it. Has nothing to do how she run ICE, how she run the Department of Homeland Security, has nothing to do with any of that. And that's the horrendous part of it. Again, so why do I think Bondi will be fired next? She is already in the line, because before, in the previous first Senate hearing and the House hearing, she was really under fire and was really close. And then out of a sudden, everyone, as if they are literally talk to each other, including this, what is her name, Megyn Kelly or whatever, they were all like making fun of her and joking about her. She's a horrible person, blah, 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 blah. This was literally, like, it was really close. And as I told you, the women in the GOP always take the hit. And Kristi Noem didn't show the utterly loyalty to Trump. Bondi has a little bit more this spineless loyalty towards him. That's why it was extended way too long than it should be. But now, as of today, the Democrats also trying to push her out and actually asking for her resignation. But again, it is a matter of time. She will be out for sure. Mark my words, she will be out. And last point I want to make is, why do I think the girls were bombed in Iran? As the first target was the girls' school, which to me, I was told, and I don't understand why nobody's talking about this, and why is not anybody outraged that why do you want to first bomb a school with girls? Like, what is, I don't understand why nobody's talking about this. What do you want from little girls? And my opinion now is that sincerely, the GOP leaders, which from all the Epstein files we know, they sincerely do not value women. Number one, that's 100% the case. They do not value women. We know this from all of their laws, that they are totally changing and shifting the laws and making it harder and harder and harder to live as women. And they sincerely do not value women. That's number. We see this with Noem. We see this with Bondi, with Tulsi Gabbart. They will be all out for sure. But then the second, in my opinion, the reason is they are young girls, okay? And women, they turn into women, and what that means is they can bear child, right? Bearing child means expansion, population expansion. But when we kill them, there will not be a population to expand. Do you get what I'm saying? And I will leave it at that. That's I think what it is. And I will leave it at that. You tell me in the comments what your thoughts are, because it goes in a different direction. Okay. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And thank you so much for supporting independent, critical analysis of world events here on my channel. I'm so grateful for you. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what topics you want me to cover. I'm happy to look into that. But also, yeah, the world events really affect our humanity, affects us here at home and worldwide. So we need to make sure that everybody is well informed and has the opportunity for critical thinking before it's too late. Have a good night.